Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream live on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 PM Pacific time in the United States, which is 10 AM in Australia or 1 AM if you're in the UK. And remember, if you do miss the live streams, you can catch up with the premiere event streams on a Friday and Saturday at 2 PM Pacific time in the US, 7 AM in Australia or 10 PM in the UK. It is good to see you guys. Wow. Everyone's so into chat nice and early. Mr. Square Peg, I see you actually the first into chat. Sorry, Edo. But it's good to see you, Mr. Square Peg, Edo. Smurfberry Barbecue, thank you for the host. T-minus 60 seconds. See, I was only like, 1 or 2 seconds late? I was pretty good today. But it's good to see you guys. I hope you're all well. I hope Sniper Echo is well too, and he's surviving his 24-hour marathon development session. Wow. Do remember, guys, if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask me in chat. If you just want to say hello like these guys, that's always welcome. But if all you want to do is watch, that is completely fine. We are going to continue working on our Temple of the Winds. We're texturing it up in Substance Painter. We're designing the model in 3D Studio Max. And we're going to do beauty renders in Eon View. I'm just going to grab a quick drink. It's better. So that's the plan. So let's jump straight in, shall we? If I open up Max here. Now, if you guys were watching me yesterday, you know that my main computer here crashed when we were working in Substance Painter. Now, I think I worked out the reason why that's going on. If I jump into my task manager here and we jump into performance and we go to GPU, you can see, yes, you can. I'm not covering it up with my big head. We're using nearly all of our graphics memory. So I have a GTX 1080 Ti, which has 11 gig of memory, and it's using 10.4 gigabytes of that 11 gig. So I think what happened yesterday was we exhausted the graphics memory of the graphics card and it caused a problem and crashed my machine, like blue screened it. I had to reset my machine, thankfully, because I used the second machine to stream. It didn't stop the stream, but I think that's the reason. And I think the reason for that is because we're using Directx Shaders. So that's the problem. We're using so many Directx Shaders in the viewport in Max that it's using all the graphics memory. So no other program has enough room to work. You have too many things. I do, Smurfberry. I have too many things. Normally, I wouldn't use a DirectX shader in Max here while I'm making a model. It's only there for you guys, to make it prettier for you guys to look at. It serves no other purpose at all, really. And that's the reason, I think. It's because there are so many DirectX shaders being used now on the model, now that the model's starting to... There are so many more textures being applied to the model, that's the issue. So what we're going to have to probably end up doing is, now that the rest of the assets, once I start to texture them up, I'm not going to be able to turn them into a DirectX shader. It's just going to cause too many problems for the machine. So, yeah, we'll get to see the model in all of its glory when we bring it into Eon View to do a beauty render. But until then, you're just going to have to sort of use your imagination a little bit, because I don't want to risk creating more DirectX shaders. I don't want to crash the machine again. I really do think that's the problem. Saucy Nacho, thank you for following the channel. I do appreciate it when you guys follow me on Twitch, so thank you very much, Saucy Nacho. I love the username too. So yeah, that's the problem. No, the DirectX shader in Max has been there for many, many generations of Max. I don't think it's something really that Autodesk could put a lot of effort into making sure works correctly, well, that's not fair. It's not really meant to be used to create a whole scene in DirectX. Well, that's not really true either. My point is, I'm pushing it to the limit with this model, and Max is just not coping. That and the fact that it's an older shader that Autodesk haven't worked on for quite a few generations of Max now. I think a combination of the new Max Qt viewport, the old DirectX shaders, me pushing it beyond its limits is causing the problems. I think that's the reason too that sometimes I get that sticky mouse. So I just, wanted to point that out, that as we finish texturing it up now, I'm not going to create Directx Shaders simply because I don't want to cause the system to become unstable. So Mercury says something excuse to smack talk Autodesk. Oh, come on. You guys know I love Max. Max is my baby. I love 3D Studio Max. I've used it for many years. And generally Max is pretty good. Occasionally it's not, but hey, that's software, isn't it? Edo says, I'm going to build a new PC. Cool. What are you going to build, Edo? Tell me. What are your plans for your new PC? What CPU? AMD or Intel? AMD is very popular now with all those cores, which is always good for rendering. Euro says, yeah, quit your smack talk and pray to the sacred cube. Yes, let's all pray to that sacred cube. Look, I love Max. I'm not going to smack talk Autodesk anymore. Smokeberry says cores. Yes, cores is where it's at now. Edo says, my only plan is power. Okay. Sniper Girl, it's good to see you, Sniper Girl. Yeah, and more cores is always good. And the new AMD Threadripper CPUs have many cores at a really good price compared to Intel anyway. Having said that, I do have an AMD machine here. One of my machines is an AMD one, not a Threadripper, it's a previous generation. And when I updated my computer, I did go Intel. Only because I use so many different types of software that I found that I have less problems on my Intel machine than I did on my AMD machine. Now, when I say problems, they're not huge problems. Just it's the same reason I go with NVIDIA over AMD for graphics cards, because a lot of the software that I use uses CUDA, and CUDA is exclusive to NVIDIA. So I tend to buy my hardware to match what software I use and what works best with that software. And I found generally Intel CPUs and NVIDIA graphics cards work the best with a lot of the software that I use. But I'm not suggesting that AMD CPUs have a problem with Photoshop or After Effects or anything like that. But I did read recently actually that the new chipset had the new driver for the new chipset had an issue on AMD machines that was causing all sorts of problems. This is the new 5 series, I think, motherboards. So there's always those sort of problems too with a new generation of chip. But you can't deny that for the amount of cores you get for the price you pay, AMD is amazing value for money compared to Intel. And Intel are worried about it. I'm sure they are. Sniper Girl says, that's fine, we'll do the smack talk of Autodesk for you. Euro says, OSL is the way forward in Max now, shader-wise. Yeah, OSL is that new open source shader language, if you want to call it that, which I guess it is. Which is true, yes, that is the new thing that Autodesk are pushing, OSL shaders. Because they're open source, you can download them for free from the net if you want to, if you want a shader. So yep, and they're good. They work in the viewport as well, in Max's viewport, in the interactive viewport. Edo says, I've always been an Intel guy. Yeah, I have too. I do have an AMD machine, and I do like AMD. I'm not saying I don't. I've just found over the years in all the studios I've worked at, and all the different software I've used, Intel seems to have fewer problems. Yeah. Same goes for NVIDIA graphics cards. They tend to be less problematic than AMD's. That changes all the time though. I mean, drivers, AMD have improved their drivers amazingly, hugely from like 5 years ago when they used to be quite bad. So Euro says, I'm still waiting on my 3900X CPU to arrive. Sweet. Oh, that'd be sweet. So many cores. A global shortage. Yeah, I actually did hear that. There's a global shortage of the AMD chips at the moment because it's so popular. Everybody wants one. It's the same in this country. In Australia, it's really difficult to get hold of an AMD CPU at the moment. Sniper Girl says, I've always been an Intel girl, honestly going to research though on AMD. No, I'm not suggesting you guys don't look at AMD because you get amazing value for money for the number of cores that you get for what you pay when you compare it to Intel. Because Intel, because they're such a large company, they've sort of sat on their hands for the last 5 years or so, and they haven't really done a lot with improvements to their architecture of their CPUs. They've been happy to charge top dollar for the same thing year after year after year. That and the fact too that they've had such a problem shrinking their die down, like, 10 nanometer sort of thing. Intel have had a lot of problems with that apparently, so whereas AMD haven't. So I do suggest you do your research on AMD CPUs because they are very good, and for what you pay for what you get is amazing value for money. I'm just putting that out there, just saying though. I've found over my years of working with software, I have fewer problems on an Intel than an AMD. Mr. Squarepeg says AMD CPUs or GPUs. I've always had NVIDIA GPUs because I need to use CUDA. A lot of the software I use works with CUDA, and that's NVIDIA. So I have always bought NVIDIA GPUs. The last game studio I worked at, they used AMD GPUs, and I know that they had a lot of problems. But this was like, more than 5 years ago. So, and the drivers were pretty bad back then, so. Euro says Intel are on super old process node too. Yeah, I know they are. They've really got to pull their finger out, Intel. And Cookie, it's good to see you, Cookie. Hello to you too. Sniper Girl says both. If I end up getting the art job, upgrading to a much better system spec is needed. Yeah, well, that's for sure. Edo says Intel streamlines everything. Well, Intel still have the fastest single-threaded performance. So if you're working on anything that's single-threaded, which generally games, most games are going to be single-threaded still. And not all of them, but a good majority is still single-threaded. It's going to be faster on an Intel CPU. So they still have the crown in single-threaded performance, but multi-threaded performance, now that AMD are throwing so many cores on their CPUs compared to Intel, they're in the lead, I think, in multi-core. And if you're doing rendering, it's multi-core that you're more interested in because, the more cores, the faster the render. Mr. Squarepeg says, which are having a shortage? No, AMD are having a shortage in this country at the moment. You can get Intel. Intel had a shortage when I bought my computer, when I upgraded, my PC here. The Intel CPUs were in shortage. You could only buy one. You couldn't buy more than one from any retailer because they were rationing them out. But now AMD are in shortage in this country. The AMD chips. CPUs. AMD CPUs, I mean. Mr. Squarepeg says, did you see that Unreal Engine rolled out Vulkan support for the Quest? No, I didn't see that. Again, Vulkan was developed by AMD and it's supposed to be pretty cool. I've actually not played with Vulkan at all. I don't have an AMD, even though you can use Vulkan on NVIDIA as well. It's not exclusive to AMD. I think AMD made it open source so it could be used on any GPU, which is cool of them, which, yeah. Sniper Echo, it's good to see you, buddy. How are you? How are you holding up? Euro says 3900X is within margin of error up to 9900K in single core. So technically flip a coin. Okay, well that could be true. Because I know AMD have been trying to improve their architecture, so probably with the latest Threadripper, it is probably within the margin of error. When you compare the price between a 3900X and a 9900K from Intel, you get many more cores on the 3900X and it's a cheaper CPU. So Intel have really got to do something, which is good for all of us because it means cheaper CPUs, and that's what we all love. Android Lust, it's good to see you, Android Lust. All you guys in chat so early, it's good to see. I hope you're well. Sniper Echo says to Sniper Girl on Android us, hello. Edo says, that's why I need to upgrade when I start working in Unreal. It bogs down my PC, but I can play all games at Ultra with my i7 4. I have an i7 too, which is my streaming machine. And I tell you, when I compare the performance between this one, wrong side, this one, and my new machine over here, my new machine has more cores, so it's faster, but not substantially faster. I mentioned this to you guys before, that the i7 22 series 2600K performs really well still, and it's like, it'll be 8 years old now, so that shows you just how little Intel have done. Having said that though, the new CPU, like I said, has more cores. It is a faster CPU, so I have to keep telling myself that to justify the thousands of dollars I spent upgrading. But it is true, Edo, when you start working with Unreal, the engine itself, having modern hardware will help. Sniper says he's good. I think Sniper's asking Sniper Girl about her interview. I'm doing really well though, Sniper Echo, thanks for asking. No, I'm good. How are you? How was your night? Are you okay? I know you put in a marathon 24-hour effort there, but I'm doing well. Euro says, yep, it's good for consumer. Yeah, that's right. We're the ones that win in the end, so that's what's important. Cookie says, Ultra at what FPS? And remember too, when you can get a lot of bang for buck now just by upgrading your graphics card as opposed to upgrading your CPU. So if you're short on cash and you want a performance boost for your computer, look at upgrading your GPU if you're using an older GPU, because that'll give you a good boost in productivity apps as well. You know, 3D, Photoshop, all that sort of stuff. Sniper Girl says to Sniper Echo, had the interview at the One Tech Job today. They're just starting interviews, so no clue. Interview for the R position is tomorrow. The waiting is the worst part, isn't it, Sniper Girl? Waiting to hear from an interview. But do keep us informed, as Sniper Echo says there, Sniper Girl. We all want to know. Jump on the Discord server and let us know. Remember, guys and girls, if you are not on the Phil Does 3D Discord server, why not? You can click that link I've just popped into chat. That'll give you an invite link to join the server if you want. You can post links on the Discord server, but only subs can post links in Twitch chat, so don't post anything in my Twitch chat unless you're my sub. But everyone can post links to their work on the Discord server, so. Sniper Girl says, I will do, don't worry. If I hear anything, you'll hear me yelling in chat. Edo says Ultra 140 FPS to Cookie. Sniper Echo says still going strong. Thanks. Worked right through till now. May get some sleep after the stream. I think you deserve some sleep, Sniper Echo. So yes, I was explaining to people that we won't be creating new Directx shaders for this model as we finish it off, the texturing stage, because it's chewing up all of my graphics memory. That's the reason my PC crashed yesterday. Sniper Girl says they want somebody that is already in Chicago and want mandatory overtime. Would be a week, 2 weeks for me to relocate to Chicago. In the between time would be commuting, so really wouldn't want to overtime for that reason. Think everything else went well. How do you feel about living in Chicago? What is Chicago like? The only thing I know about Chicago is, like, you know, what I see on TV shows, and I know that's not reality, so. What's Chicago like? I'm just curious. Okay, so let us pick something to send to Substance Painter. You'll notice too that my viewport is a lot smoother. We're not getting that sticking we were getting yesterday, and again, that was to do, I think, with the fact that we were maxing out the graphics card memory, so just be aware of that if you are using Directx Shaders, which you probably shouldn't be, because as has been mentioned in chat, OSL shaders are what you should use now. I'm using DirectX because I've not used OSL before. I have to look into it. I'm not sure how easy it is to create an OSL shader, whereas to do this DirectX shader, it's quite easy. Smurfery says, I'm pretty sure Chicago is cold. Well, that's cool. I like cold. Euro says Wayne's World. Was Wayne's World in Chicago? I didn't know that. Sniper Girl says, I love Chicago, went to school there, and it's great. Okay, cool. Except when it isn't. Smurfery says, you're such a stirrer, Smurfery Barbecue. Galen, it's good to see you, Galen. Galen says, was lurking watching the SpaceX launch and waiting for the fairing recovery. Yeah, that's the bit that I like too. I like to see the actual boosters come back down to Earth. That's really cool to watch them land with SpaceX. But it's good to see you, Galen. Mr. Square Peg says, nice. Morak says, wow, that's one huge screen. You're talking about my screen? Morak, it's good to see you, Morak. Thanks for being here and popping in the chat. If you've got any questions, remember, feel free to ask me. I'm using a 4K monitor, that's probably why it looks big. So it's a 32-inch 4K screen. Remember what I said to you guys too yesterday, if you are using a 10-bit panel, make sure you install the Creators drivers because NVIDIA have now enabled 30-bit color. You can take advantage of that in Photoshop, in After Effects, in Premiere if you use those applications, and a whole range of other apps that can take advantage of 30-bit color now. Previously, you had to buy a Quadro graphics card, which are thousands of dollars, to get access to 30-bit color. But NVIDIA did that through their drivers. There was no restriction on GeForce cards, but NVIDIA wanted you to buy Quadro, so they restricted it in the driver. But they've since in the last week opened that up to GeForce 10 series and 20 series. So must have a 10 series or a 20 series. Download the 431.70 Creators drivers and you can access 30-bit color, which is cool, which is a godsend because, like I said, working in 30-bit color is the way to go, particularly if you do professional work, color grading work. Snappery says they caught one. Sniper Girl says the Euro more like Death Race. Galen says, yep, caught it. Good to hear. Galen says Rocket Lab is going reusable too, but they're going to catch the returning booster with a helicopter before it hits the water. Wow, that'll be interesting. I want to watch that. When that happens, that's going to be a real, that's, I imagine, going to be incredibly difficult. Morak says, hello, I'm using Max a lot and got a bit confused if that is Max. Yes, it is. This is 3D Studio Max that I'm using, but it is on a high DPI screen, so that's probably why. If you're using Max 2, remember the new version of Max. If you're using 2020, you can now pop out your viewports. You can float your viewports. So if you have multiple monitors, that's a real godsend as well. I don't do it here because, as I mentioned yesterday, if I put them on my second screen, you won't see them. So when I stream, I put everything on the one screen. But I do the same for Photoshop. I put a lot of my stuff on my second screen and keep the main screen just for the main viewport. And Premiere as well, or After Effects. Snappy Girl says to Morak, no, it's garbage 2019. Time to install that 30-bit. Yes, Edo, do the 30-bit. It's amazing. Getting access to 30-bit color for your productivity apps like Photoshop and Premiere and After Effects, Sony Vegas, all of those sort of things can take advantage of 30-bit color. Broadcast quality color. But don't stress if you don't have a 10 or 20 series and you can't access 30-bit color. If you're not, unless you're a professional, unless you're doing professional broadcast grade work, then it's not, you can work with your 8-bit color or 24-bit color, I should call it, really. 8 bits per channel as opposed to 10 bits per channel. Anyway, that's what I mean. Galen says, big day for SpaceX. There was also an Ariana launch this morning. Wow. They're going gangbusters, aren't they, SpaceX? Well, actually, that's not SpaceX, but space exploration is going gangbusters. Morak says, that's why I'm not moving from 2018 for a while. I was using 2018 before I started using 2020 here. And I've had more problems with 2020 than I ever had with 2018. So much so that I'm considering switching back to 2018, but I have to check the licensing to see if I'm allowed to. I have to speak to the studio again. Euro says to Sniper Girl, back to Maya with you. That's right. Up to Maya with you, Sniper Girl. Smurfery says, back when spy satellites used film instead of digital, they used to catch the parachuting film with helos and planes. It still must be a really difficult thing to do, I would have thought. Even today, I would think it would be difficult to catch it on the fly. Cookie says, only took them 10 years to support fire. No, tell me about it, Cookie. What the... Every other piece of software that I use, I've been able to undock the viewport and move it where I wanted to, except in 3D Studio Max. What's that all about? You're right. It only took them 10 years. They got there in the end, though. But remember, too, you're only going to see the floating viewports if you install the Update 1 to 3D Studio Max 2020. So if you just install the base 2020, you're not going to see the floating viewports. You have to install Update 1, which was released a short while ago. Because Autodesk update Max through these updates every year now, so it's not just the one big release every year. You get incremental updates throughout the year through patches, if you want to call them that. Morak says, I heard 2020 has a lot of issues. I don't think I'll be doing that myself. I'll be cursing Autodesk developers day and night. Yeah, look, like I said, I was using 2018. It was fine. I updated to 2020 because the studio said update. We're updating everything, so update, because they're the ones that pay for my license. So I updated, and I've had more problems with 2020 just in the last few months since I've been using it than I ever had in 2018. Oh, Autodesk. But anyway, we're not going to get on the Autodesk bashing. Morag says, I think the booster landings are the favourite part of everyone watching. Yeah, that's what I like. I like the booster landings because it's just so I don't know, futuristic and cool to watch these boosters land automatically. Sniper Girl says, Phil does chat. Yeah, that's right. Phil doesn't do 3D anymore. Phil does just chat. Pizza time. Oh, Smurfery, I'm so jealous. You're making me hungry. I want pizza. I want pizza. And I still think about that chili you were talking about. Morag says, luckily you can unlock all your tool panels from Max and move them to another screen, so you can technically have another screen only for your viewport. Yeah, but you couldn't unlock these three viewports here. Like I like to work in perspective, and then I like to have my top, my front, and my left open. And so yeah, these ones you could never undock. Sure, you could undock all of these other things and move them around, which is, so you could get more space that way. But if you wanted to have the three images on the screen at the same time, the four, the only way you could do it was to go through the viewport configuration. So they sort of gave you a bit of a change, they allowed you to use the layout thing here, but you couldn't move them. My apologies for my phone going off in the background, guys. So now you can actually float them, which is cool. So what I generally do is I take these three and I float them onto my second screen, and that way I can have my perspective and my main viewport maxed out. I'll take these away as well and put them on the second screen, like the browser. I don't do that here because I like to access this constantly, the modified panel here. So I generally don't move that. Sniper Girl says to Smurfery, are you sharing? Yes, that's right. Galen says, posted Rocket Labs, the recovery method in Discord. I see that Galen has posted a video of the recovery method in the Discord server, so check it out. It's a video by looking at. Cookie says, I hope 2021 is only bug fixes. I don't want any new features. Yeah, right. You think they're only going to do bug fixes? Cookie. What? Where have you been living? My sweet summer child. I mean, really. Autodesk doing bug fixes. Come on. Smurfery says, Cookie, that's what I said about Maya 2018. 2008, sorry. Euro says, I hope 2021 is a major update. is major updates. They really need to modernize the baking. Actually, that is on the roadmap. They're going to improve the baking in Max, and it does need improving. They're going to modernize baking parts of Max, which are in the roadmap. I'll be happy when I can group bake and utilize round edge shaders with it. Yeah, me too. I agree, Euro. It does need. I'm glad they're going to be doing that. That needs to be done. Galen says, speaking of cookies, I'm enjoying some snickerdoodles. I don't know what they are. They sound yummy though. Stop talking about food, guys. I'm so hungry now. It's only early morning for me too. I shouldn't be hungry, but you know, when you guys talk food constantly, I'll have something to eat after the stream. I have lunch. Morex says to Euro, I've lost hope to be honest. Last 2 Max launches were terrible. Mr. Squarepeg says, so some friends of mine are launching a Kickstarter soon for their augmented reality headset. May I post a link? You may post a link in Discord, Mr. Squarepeg, but you can't post a link in my Twitch chat. Unless you're a sub. I can't override that. That's just the way it is. But for sure, post in Discord. By all means. There's a good group. It's like the Discord server has a lot of people popping in and out all the time. So post it in Discord. People will see it, I promise. Cool. And I see you posted that in Discord. That looks really cool, actually. Whatever the person's doing there in that video looks really cool. Is it glass blowing? What is it? I just like the visual, the colours and stuff. Oh no, he's got a wand. That's part of the augmented reality. Okay. Jump on the Discord, guys, and check out what... actually, I will do it for you, Mr. Squarepeg. This is the AR link that Mr. Squarepeg just popped in Discord chat. If you guys want to check it out and you don't want to jump onto Discord, why not? And I'll post this link as well. You guys should check that out. Augmented reality is better than virtual reality. I'm sorry. Sorry for you guys and girls that love the VR. I still think VR is early days. It's going to take another few years yet for people to actually, for normal people, not us techie people, but for normal people to be interested in VR. But AR is much more interesting, augmented reality. I think it's much more useful, at least now. But good luck with the Kickstarter, Mr. Squarepeg, with your friends. Morak says, I secretly hope a team of good developers buys off Autodesk to save it. Sadly, I don't think there's a dev studio big enough to do that. No, I don't think Autodesk are going to get rid of they're going to sell off anything. They make too much money from it all. I mean, if anything, they're the ones that buy up every other company and then close them down. Softimage or Softimage, you remember that piece of 3D software that doesn't exist anymore after Autodesk bought it? Euro says to Morak, I still use 2016 for my paid work, refused to pay for new 2017 to 19 license upgrades, weren't worth it for me. Well, 2016 is a great version. I used 2016 for a long time as well. It's probably one of the most stable I've ever used. Everybody loves 2016. But I do like the new chamfer tool in Max 2020. I'll give them that. They did a good job with the chamfer tool. You're taking a high definition pizza. You're so cheeky, Smurfberry Barbecue. Wow. You're going to be right back after taking a pizza photo. Morak says 2017 had the most crashes I've ever experienced. That's when I started working on ArchViz, which is fairly simple. Morak says I moved to 2018 and I'm happy I haven't had any crashes unless I totally overwhelm the software and bottleneck my CPU. Yeah, I was using 2018 up until a few months ago. I didn't use 2019 at all. I went straight to 2020 after that. And I had no problems. I had maybe 1 or 2 crashes all the time I used 2018. I've had much more problems with 2020 though. I'll get a discount when it goes live, Mr. Squarepeg. Good to hear. That's what I like. I like discounts. And I do think, like I said, augmented reality is much more interesting to me than virtual reality. Sniper Girl says, on the topic of food, when I finally get a job in Chicago, first check is going towards deep dish pizza. Miss real Chicago style. Actually, I've heard that. I've heard that deep dish pizzas in Chicago are supposed to be good. All the way over here in Australia, I've heard that. Oh, now I'm so hungry. Euro says 2020 EDU mostly runs fine for me. EDU is the educational version. Again, like I'll keep harping on it because I know a lot of people don't know about it. But if you're a student, if you have a student email address, you can get a free 3-year license from Autodesk for 3D Studio Max or Maya or a whole range of other software that Autodesk can own. Which is really cool of Autodesk. So you don't have to spend any money if you're a student. They'll give you a free 3-year license to use the software, and it's the same software that you buy. There's no restrictions as far as the functionality of the software goes, but you can't create anything commercially with it. That's the one thing. So yeah, Euro's saying that the 2020 educational version mostly runs fine. There's one issue that makes it unusable for me till they fix it. Might install the update tomorrow and see if they improved it. Yeah, there is the update 1 to 2020. Make sure you do install that. Morag says VR is getting some serious tech updates in the upcoming years. Sniper Girl says to Mark, yeah, that's true. Cookie's asking what issues. Galen says augmented reality in the RoboMaster competition that's going on this weekend is amazing. Yeah, AR is really cool. Softimage, rest in peace, Mr. Squarepeg, yep. Or Soft Image, however you want to pronounce it. I've heard it pronounced both ways. Just like Wacom and Wacom, the tablet. Some people say Wacom, some people say Wacom. I think it's actually pronounced Wacom. I think that's how the company says what it pronounced. Morak says, I believe by 2025 we will have some pretty good VR experiences. Look, I'm sure we will eventually. It's just at the moment, the tech isn't there. I found too that VR can make me feel sick. I know that's got a lot to do with the screen refresh rate and all that sort of thing, the frames per second. That has a big impact on how sick you feel when you use VR. But in the VR that I've tested in the past, it's made me feel sick. So, I don't care how good something is. If it makes me want to throw up, I'm not going to put it on. That and the fact too that Facebook own the Rift, and I don't like Facebook as a company, so I refuse to give Facebook any money at all for anything. Not that they need my money, but you've got to take a stand somewhere along the line. If you don't believe in what Facebook are doing and how they treat your personal information, guys and girls, be concerned. Be very, very concerned. They're making money on your information. They're making huge amounts of money on your data. They're not telling you they're doing it. It stinks. They need to be regulated. There, I've said it. Cool Euro says to Cookie, the lag spikes when switching between edge, vertex and poly in Edit Poly. You mentioned that before, Euro, I remember. And that is true. Galen says the augmented reality shows damage and ID of each robot as they zip around the arena. That sounds really cool. Mr. Squarepeg says Blender 2.8 is amazing. Yes, Blender is amazing. It's going gangbusters now, Blender. Free 3D software, so that is completely free. Regardless of whether you're a student or not. You can download and use Blender. It's being developed quite a lot. Epic Games just gave them $1.2 million to help develop the software, so they're doing really well, Blender. Mr. Squarepeg says the great thing about this headset is that you can use it with PCs and Android devices. Well, that's cool. You guys check it out, the Kickstarter. I'll have a look at it as well. Cookie says that's a very old problem for me. As long as I can remember, does collapsing the Edit Poly modifier panels help? She's talking about these panels over here, I think. Less to draw makes it faster. Euro says, no, not for me at least. It's probably the only thing stopping me from upgrading at the moment. Aaron says, and after you get an educational license, you can change the email address and continue getting the education. I do not, look, I'm not suggesting you guys try and game the system. I cannot say things like that, and I won't. You guys should be following the letter of the law. But that's up to you guys what you get up to. Cookie says Wacom. Wacom. You want to call them Wacom. Yeah, a lot of people. I think that's the way they actually want it pronounced. Wacom, not Wacom. Android last day. Wacom seems to be the consensus. So we're all going to call it Wacom now. Wacom tablets, not Wacom tablets. Sniper Girl, what have you posted here just for me? Is this family friendly and stream safe, Sniper Girl? Oh, should I? I'll check it out, but I'm going to be extra specially careful before I do. I'm going to do it off stream. I'm going to do it off screen. What is this? Oh no! Look, she's so cruel. Look, she knows I'm starving. And look at what she's posted. Oh man! Oh yum! Yum 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 yum. Oh, stop it, man! You're so cruel. Galen says I have coordination and balance issues, as it is with VR. And Cookie says never use Facebook, never will. Good on you, Cookie. I don't have a personal Facebook account. I have one for the House on the Hollow game, simply because it's a game it needs promoting, and Facebook is the best for business to promote. But I hate Facebook as well, and I'll never have a personal Facebook account. Never, never, never. Mr. Squarepeg says the Zook is trying to become human with your data. Wake up, people. Oh, that's so cruel, but so true. Smurfberry says pizza in Discord. Oh, yum. Oh, you're all so cruel. You know that, don't you? This is what Smurfberry has just posted in the Discord server. Oh, God, that looks so good too. Oh, yum. Yum, 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 yum. You are all so cruel. You really are. Morag says, I worked on some VR apps and mostly it comes from not calibrating the headset for the specific person that's using it. Every person has different height movements, and calibrating basically helps you when you put the headset on to have a natural feel of movement. True. And of course, everyone's pupil distance is different as well, so that all has to be calibrated properly too. But the other thing I found about wearing a VR headset was it gets really hot. That's the other thing that really annoyed me. Having this thing strapped over my face, it's the reason I can't wear headphones for very long. Like, can I get this into shot like these that cover the entire ear? Because my ears get really hot. So I'm just one of those people that if any part of their body gets covered up for too long, it gets really hot. So yeah, I found VR really, really uncomfortable to wear. Ito says game the system. Smurfberry says it's Wacom and I will die on this hill. You've got to be the one odd one out, don't you, Smurfberry? Cookie says to Smurfberry, that's how I say it too. Android Love says she posted not suitable for work pizza. I know. I'm just checking out what Galen posted in Discord here about rocket bearing falls from space and is caught by a T-boat. Cool. I'm still amazed they can do that though, on the fly. Cookie says, and GIF is not said like the peanut butter. It's GIF, not GIF. GIF, not GIF. Trust me, the guy that invented it said you're supposed to pronounce it GIF, not GIF. With a J, not a G. It's spelled with a G, but pronounced with a J. That's what he said. And he invented the thing. Having said that, when I was going to uni, all of the lecturers used to call it GIF and not GIF. So. And they're still going strong, even after all these years. Where would we be without memes and GIFs? Sniper Girl says to Android, last legit Chicago style pizza, only real way to make a pizza. It does look very nice. Android Love says, the Sniper Girl, I have to have a Chicago deep dish for me to make that decision. I haven't had a Chicago deep dish either. Android Love says, because smoked pizza looks more like pizza to me. I like a good pizza crust. Sniper Girl says, totally didn't post an Imagine in general chat that you totally shouldn't check it out. Oh no! God, that looks so good too. Oh wow. I'm not going to show that picture. It's bad enough that I'm sitting here looking at the Discord and see this picture staring at me constantly of this yummy looking pizza. You are so cruel, so cruel. Oh wow, Morak says, I only used Facebook for chat and to connect with friends. I have plugins to block all news feeds and story feeds and so on, pretty much isolated from ads and shitpost. I recommend Facebook Purity to everybody in this room. It's amazing. I recommend, guys, don't even go on Facebook. That is my recommendation to you guys. Don't have a Facebook account. Stick it to Mr. Zuckerberg. I wish more people would close their Facebook accounts. I should mount a campaign to tell people to close their Facebook account. I'm sure other people have. Let's do some work. Let's texture these pieces up. So I'm going to send them over to Substance Painter. It's going to complain the first time I do it. It always does. We'll just do it again and it'll be fine. The guy who invented the GIF format can have his opinion, and he's wrong. Wow, wow, Smokeberry. The guy who invented it is just complaining because I'm using a newer version of Substance Painter. The guy who invented it, you're going to dismiss completely. Nice, really nice. Sniper Girl says to Android Dust, if you ever go that way, highly recommend Giordano's. Neura says graphics interchange format, graphics interchange format. Yes, but it's still pronounced GIF, not GIF. Galen says, does he say graphics card? Oh, yeah, look, I know what you're saying, guys, but he said, I'm telling you, look it up online. There have been interviews with him where he's spoken about it. Cookie says, okay, then everybody has to start saying graphics as graphic. I can't even pronounce it. Until then, it's GIF with a G. Galen says, ads and news feeds are not the problem with Facebook. It's what they do with your personal information. That's exactly right. Let's bake out this mesh while I'm reading the chat. Let's be multitasking here. But that's exactly right. It's your personal information. What they're doing with your personal information that you guys should be incredibly upset and annoyed about. One baking process failed. See log for details. Well, show me the log. Baking failed. Color map from mesh. Invalid input. Okay. I think I might have forgotten to... Yeah, I forgot to tell it to use the low poly as the high poly. That's the problem. See, I can't multitask. Morak says, they just reminded me to get myself the S Painter Bridge. Yeah, do. It's a free plugin you download from... And are you still complaining? You can download from Substance's forum. Baking file for color map from mesh. Invalid input data. Check the log. Anyway, we're not... Actually, I think it might be the ID map here that's complaining about. Because I don't have any IDs. Because from what I can see here, it looks fine. I did the bake out without a problem. And I'm not using these bake maps anyway. The only reason I bake it out is so I can use the smart masks. So long as it has a normal, a world space, and a curvature, I'm happy. I don't really need any of the others. Okay, but what I'm going to do here before we start painting is I'm just going to I'm just going to minimize max just to be on the safe side because I really don't want my machine to crash. Edo says, I think I'm a buy a 3D printer and start printing and selling prints. Well, 3D printers are cool and they're much cheaper now than they used to be. Sniper Girl says, well, when it comes to stuff like GIFs, it's up to people to decide how it's pronounced, not the creator. Language involves change over time. Well, that's true, I guess. Still, if I was the creator and I wanted you to pronounce something, and I invented something and I pronounced it a certain way, I want you all to pronounce it the same way that I am. But hey, you can't force people. Morek says to Edo, do it. It's good to have the ability to print your 3D work in the real world. Well, it is. It'd be really cool to model something in 3D in your 3D program and then print that out to have a physical object. That would be cool. Euro says the whole GIF thing is going to be like pineapple on pizza argument, endless. Ooh, pineapple. I don't like pineapple. Even though we grow a lot of it in this country. Pineapple is an acquired taste. Pineapple does not belong on pizza, as Sniper Girl says. I would agree. Smurfberry says, look what you did. That's right, we're going to have a pizza war. Pizza wars. Cookie says, yes, it does. Android Lust says, wait, who puts pineapple on pizza? And Cookie says, I do. Sniper Girl says, well, if that's the case, how do you pronounce UFO? Because I guarantee it's not the way the original creator intended. What, unidentified flying object? Is that what we're talking about? You're wrong, Android Lust says. Okay, let's. What are we going to do for the colouring for this? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is make these larger so we can see them better. And I want these to be a stone, I think. What stone? That's the question. And Cookie says it's the best thing ever. Smurfberry says no you. Morek says pizza wars, people throw pizza left and right to hit each other and I just collect the ammunition. Euro says count the pineapple pieces as they go past. Cookie, and no, you're wrong. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it doesn't belong. I don't like fish on pizza, but it has its place on pizza. Are you talking about sardines? Sardines on pizza? I actually like sardines. I don't eat seafood because I'm allergic to it. But I'm only really allergic to crustaceans, so shellfish. Not that I don't really like fish in general, though. I don't like the smell. And I can't eat things like crab or anything like that. But sardines are the one thing, oddly enough, because they are such an acquired taste, that I don't mind sardines on pizza. Not a lot. Don't pack the pizza with sardines, but a couple. Yep. I mean, I'm into that. But I'm really big on chicken and avocado pizza at the moment. I really like chicken, avocado and chili on my pizza. Pepperoni, of course, is good, but I'm on a chicken kick at the moment. And there's no pineapple with the chicken, just avocado and tomato and, all the rest of it. Sniper Girl says, yeah, original person that coined UFO said it as if you didn't pronounce the actual letters separate, but rather as if it was read as a word like UFO. I call it UFO, but no, fair enough. Cookie it says just not the pizza. Android Lust says, I mean it's edible, just not worth buying. Okay. Now I don't really know what sort of texturing I want for these side pieces yet. We'll play it by ear and see how we go. Galen says I'm super supreme kind of guy, but I love a Kelly veggie on thin crispy crust. I like meat too much. I couldn't go vegetarian, not particularly not for my pizza. A friend of mine is vegetarian, but I'm not. Not saying there's anything wrong with being vegetarian, but I'm just saying I like meat way too much to be able to go vegetarian. Snappy Girl says, okay, then your argument on GIF on Wacom is invalid then. Can't have it both ways. I just won't use the word UFO or UFO, will I? Can I have it both ways if I don't use the word? Poor tomato berries confused as vegetables, Euro says. But being vegetarian is good for the planet. Look, you know, part of the problem is all the methane and stuff that's going into the atmosphere, and being a vegetarian is a good thing for that. But I just love meat so much. I love a good steak. I really do. Nice big piece of rump steak. Oh, yum. You know, smothered in gravy with mashed potato. And, yum, yum, yum. I mean, I do eat vegetables, but I want meat with it. Oh, wow, what am I going to choose here? I'm going to do a mix of a couple, but I need to find the couple I want to mix. That's the problem. You know, sometimes when you get overwhelmed with choice, there's just so much for you to choose from, you can't choose anything. That's sort of how I'm feeling at the moment. There's so much here. And I'm really not sure of what colour I want to go either. Cookie says, from now on I say GIF as GIF, as G-I-F. Galen says, steak warm, pink and juicy inside. Yes, that's the way to have it with a baked potato or garlic mashed potato. Yum. Yes, don't overcook your steak, guys and girls. This comes from my chefing background. You don't want to be overcooking your steaks. You do want them to be a little pink inside. Now I know some people don't want it raw, which is fair enough. But don't cook it so it's completely cooked through the entire steak. There's no pink at all. You're taking away all the goodness of the meat by doing that. So I'm not suggesting you have to have it raw, but do leave just a little bit of pink in the middle. Pink, you know. Don't eat it raw. Don't eat raw meat. That's not good. Euro says, Euro says, type the material name in the box to filter out the relevant. Yeah, I don't know what material I want. That's the problem, Euro. I'm looking at all of them and thinking, which way do I want to go? That is my problem. Do I want to go like with a more traditional stone, or do I want to go with more of a concretey stone? That's what I'm trying to work out. And the colour is going to play a part in that as well. Like, what colour do I want to go with? I'm going to throw this down. This is Castle. It's called a Castle Rock. So it's probably not going to be suitable. I just want to see if I can make any adjustments to it that might make it usable. Okay, now let's just pull up on the scaling. No. I mean, it's interesting, but no, it's not going to work for what we want. I don't think there's any way for me to turn off the stone. No. Okay, I just wanted to check it. Morak says, so I have a question for you. How do you export textures from Substance Painter to Max or V-Ray without them breaking? So far, the basic preset that Substance Painter has in its export menu has never worked for me. Okay, so you want to export your textures from Substance Painter into Max and use them in V-Ray without them breaking. And you're saying that the basic preset that Substance Painter has in its export menu has never worked. Make sure you're using the Substance plugin. So if we go to Substance Painter, I actually did post this on my Twitter page when Substance released it. So make sure Max comes with a Substance plugin. Don't use that one. Make sure you download the one from Substance Painter because they released it a month or two ago. Where is it? Well, I think it's under integrations. I think. So if you're using Max, I believe they have ones for for Maya as well. Make sure you get the plugin here, because like I said, there is a plugin that comes standard with Max 2018, 2019, 2020. That Autodesk distribute. Don't use that one. Download the one from here, and use this one. And that way you should be able to carry your substances between Substance Painter and V-Ray without a problem, because that's what it's made for. It's actually made for V-Ray, Corona, Arnold, Redshift and Octane. Sniper Girl says to cooking, not really what I was getting at. Phil said that the original person that coined a word has final say to how it's pronounced, and that if that's the case, the original person that coined UFO pronounced it as UFO. Phil still insists that it's pronounced UFO, regardless, which disproves his point. I did not say that. You're putting words in my mouth again, Sniper Girl. Cookie says, yeah, I'm doing the same thing with GIF, so he can't disagree. Edo says, why cook it? Just bite the cow? Yuck. Sniper Girl says to Cookie, I see. Cookie says, bananas and berries and strawberries aren't. Morek says, by breaking, I mean I try to work with the specular gloss channels in Substance Painter. And when I export the textures and manually put them in Max, they just don't look like anything. They just don't look anything like it looks in Substance Painter, even when rendering with iRay. Yeah, you must use the plugin, otherwise they won't. So are you using the plugin? Because the plugin will automatically hook up the different nodes in Max's material editor for you, so it should look like it does in Substance Painter. Yeah, make sure you try the plugin. Don't use the default plugin in Max, the Substance plugin that comes with Max. Download this one, it's free. The same if you're using Maya and stuff, but these are the Max ones. And this plugin will automatically set up the node tree for you so that the material in Max looks exactly like it does in Substance. When you do a render, not in the viewport, but when you do a render in V-Ray, because I use V-Ray as well. Well, the studio, that I work for, we use V-Ray. No problem, Morak. Smurfberry says, stupid question, but are you using the spec gloss shader inside Substance? And Morak says yes. Because yes, there are different, if we jump into, I'm not going to export, but there are these different configurations you can load up. And there is one here for V-Ray. I'm just using the PBR one for our work, but yeah. If you do work with specific things, whether it's Unity or UE4 or Corona or whatever, CryEngine even, the Unreal Engine, you can just load up one of these configuration files before you do your export. Double check the configuration here though. Make sure you're using the right one. Morak says, yep, those presets were what I'm talking about in the exporter menu. Yeah, just make sure you choose the right exporter, and then make sure you use the Substance plugin that you download from Substance's website, not the one that comes with Max. The one that Adobe Substance make is better, because it automatically will set up the nodes for you. All you have to do is load the file, and it'll sort everything out for you. The other thing you can do is use a physical shader. So the plugin is good. Like say you've got a substance file, an SBZAR file here, and you want to use that inside of V-Ray directly. Like you don't want to export your textures out. You want to be able to load up one of these SBZAR materials directly and use it in V-Ray. Use that substance plugin for that. If you want to export textures that you from Substance Painter that you've created using export textures, then use the physical material shader inside of Max, because that's set up to take substance materials that have been exported. You can use it for that. It's a PBR workflow. So it's physically based material workflow, and that's just called the physical material inside of 3D Studio Max. So if I jump back into Max real quick, let's hope it doesn't crash. It shouldn't. You can see it takes it a while there. There we go. So inside of Max's material editor, you have this physical material. Use that. So use the physical material if you are saving out bitmaps that you want to use in V-Ray, because you can load them all up here. But if you want to load up an SBZAR file directly to use in V-Ray, then use that plugin. I do have it installed. I've just got to remember where they put it. And that's the OSL stuff that we were talking about in chat earlier. It is here. There is a Substance. Here we go. You see Substance and Substance 2. Substance is the one that comes with Max. Substance 2 is what that plugin is that you download from the website, Substance website. Smurfery says, stupid question. Does V-Ray have different concepts of linear versus sRGB color? I had a problem of UE4 not looking like Substance Painter before, and it was because in UE4 I had my packed texture specified as sRGB instead of linear color. V-Ray does have different concepts of linear and sRGB. Yes, it does. You should always work in a linear space as much as possible. sRGB is really meant for the web. So for websites or anything you put online, that's what sRGB is really for. So working in the linear color space all the way through your production pipeline until you get to the very end, and then if you need to put it online, convert it to sRGB. Working linear is the best way to go. But yes, V-Ray does have both sRGB and linear. Morex says, that sounds like kind of weird because sRGB will stop being sRGB if its concept is changed. Well, when you convert from a linear to any other color space, there's going to be some conversion and color change happen. Morex says, not yet. I've seen other weird shit. Smurfery says, like this is what the difference was and I didn't realize. I just had the wrong checkbox enabled, so I tried manual correction in Photoshop before I figured that out. You got to be careful with some textures that you import into the Unreal Engine want to be linear and not sRGB. From the top of my head, I can't quite remember what they are now, but there are some textures that you'll import that you don't want to be in sRGB. Cookie says to Smurfery, same case with Unity accidentally. Yeah, it's easy to do because it is easy to actually to have it in the wrong color space inside of Unreal. And it can be a little confusing working out what color space it wants sometimes, but generally sRGB for anything that's like a texture map or anything like that. Color texture map, that is. When you start working with grayscale images, then you don't want an sRGB, I don't think, from memory. I'd have to jump back into Unreal and have a look. Okay, come on, Philip. Make a choice here. Make a choice. Choose. Yeah, I don't think I want to go with a marble. I think I want to go with... Let's see what this looks like as an underlying texture, because we are going to layer a few down. Let's change this height information here to begin with, because it's way too much. Let's play with our scaling. Okay, now we're starting to get a repeating pattern, which I don't want. So I'm going to unlock the X and the Y scaling here. I'm going to do them individually. So I don't want that one. Morex says, I would most likely consider something close to the color theme you have going on at the moment, or something neutral. Yeah, no, I agree. I don't want to go too colorful. But I do want to introduce a little bit more. I don't want the model to look too grey. That's basically what I'm trying to avoid. Getting the model to look too grey. I want, yeah, a little bit more colour. I don't want it quite so greyish. I'm just going to delete this bottom layer because it's a blank layer. I'm just going to turn that off, and we're going to throw another layer, another material down. See what it looks like. Again, we're going to pull right back on the height. We're going to up the scaling. That's a better texture for the object. This is going to be an underlying texture anyway. I'm going to put a texture on top of it. So I'm just going to remove that underlying one. I didn't like that. And now we need another texture for over this one. Let's see what this looks like. Pull back on the height. No, unless I can get rid of some of this, the rust, the dirtiness, the peeling. It's not the rust. No, this one is not going to work. We'll find something else. Morak says, I don't want the monument to look too grey. Another person declines the Soviet brutalism monument movement. Well, we're making, you know, I'm going to put that Temple of the Winds we're making inside of a game that I'm making. So, yeah, and you know, when you're playing a game, you don't want your game to look all brown and grey. So that's the other consideration as to it. I'm actually going to sell the model in my 3D store as well, but I'm going to use it in a game level, so I want to make sure there's a little bit of colour in it, a little bit of interest. You're not going to be walking up to a grey monument. Because it's not reality. Well, the model is a real model, but yeah, things always are prettier with a bit of colour. But it does get back to what I was telling you guys when we were doing texturing for the game level that I'm making. You want to try and avoid throwing too many different textures together. You want to keep everything nice and consistent as far as your colour scheme goes. You don't want to throw too much together that's not consistent because it'll look awful. Morag says, game that I'm making, you have my interests there? Oh, well, you didn't know. Okay. Well, let's talk about that then. I've got people watching me thinking, is this guy ever going to do any bloody 3D work? All he does is talk. Yeah, I'm making a game called The House in the Hollow. There is a website that you can go to called thehouseInTheHollow.com. In fact, I will just do it really quickly because anyone watching might be interested, who knows. And it's not going to be on that one, just let me grab the link from over here. That's the one I want. So yeah, if you go to thehouseonthehollow.com, you'll find links there to the game's Twitter page and Facebook page and all that sort of stuff. And you can read up on what the game's about here. And it is in development now. I've actually been working on it. The guys and girls that watch me regularly have seen it. Actually, they watched me make it last year when I was working on... I made a cinematic for Epic Game. Well, I made a cinematic using UE4 that was part of the NVIDIA's Edge thing. So now I'm turning it into a game. So that's basically where we're at. You can read up about the game there. So thehouseonthehollow.com. I'll just pop the link in chat. Oh, wrong chat. There we go. Okay, now. I want to avoid putting any more moss around things. I think there's enough moss on the model now as it is. These are grounds. These are actually not meant to be used, but that doesn't mean we can't use them. I'm just a little hesitant because when I used one of these ground ones yesterday, that's what crashed my machine. Let's do a save just in case. Even if my machine crashes, my stream will stay up. But I'm just always wary because I'm pushing the graphics card memory to the limit. That's the reason. And I think it was when we applied this ground yesterday, it crashed the machine. So all of these ground ones I'm so unsure about. See what this grunge map looks like. I've actually not used this. This might be a new thing with... Oh no, that's not going to do what we want it to do. That's fine. Smurfberry says it's a point and click because he's a nerd. It's not a point and click. It's first person. He's lying. Thanks, Morek. I'm glad you like it. Hopefully it will turn out well. We still have to put other... At the moment, I'm going to be actually jumping back into working on that game on stream live once we finish this model. So I think in my events on my Twitch page there, it's scheduled in for the beginning of September. So in about another 3 weeks or so, we should have this project finished and I'll be working on the game live on Twitch when I stream. So anyone that's interested in the game can watch me make it. Sniper says, Yappa mission cinematic. Oh, there you go. Sniper Girl says, lying that you're a nerd. Are you turning in your nerd card? No, I have no problems. I'll take being a nerd. I don't mind being called a nerd. You know, one studio I worked at once on a special project, so I wasn't with the studio for a long time. I was only there for a specific project. One of the directors sort of said, oh, you're all a bunch of nerds, thinking that it was derogatory. But hey, I'm quite happy to cop the nerd. I think it's cool to be a nerd. I don't mind at all. He wasn't being mean or anything. I'm not trying to suggest that this guy was a real asshole. He wasn't. But, yeah, it doesn't have the meaning that it used to anymore. Cookie says, damn, figured you'd do the same ZBrush after this. No. Oh, Cookie. Oh, you get the stink eye, Cookie. ZBrush, indeed. Because you guys know how much I love ZBrush. Sniper Ricker says, looking good, Phil. Morak says, sadly my game dev dreams are slowly dying. Well, that's no good. Why are they dying, Morak? Why are your game dev dreams dying? They shouldn't be. The Unreal Engine is free to download and use. You only pay 5% to Epic Games after you make $3,000 in the first month. And 5% is pretty reasonable. Unity is free. So to download, I think, and use. I'm not sure about their commission costs, but you shouldn't let your dream die. Sniper Girl says, yeah, you love ZBrush. Yes, I do. You know how much I love ZBrush. So much. Look, I like the program. I don't want the people that love ZBrush to start hating on me now. You guys know I love the program. I think it does an amazing job at sculpting. I just hate the interface. I really wish they'd update their interface because it's so bad. I mean, come on, Pixologic. We're heading into 2020 soon. And your interface is from 10 years ago. Update it. Make it more streamlined. Don't hide crap within crap within crap. That's my pet hate with ZBrush. It's the menus and stuff. They're horrible. Horrible. It's this 2.5D business. Get rid of it. I mean, no one uses it anyway. Make it like a proper 3D interface. Do away with 2.5D. Now I'm going to get hate from all the people that use 2.5D and ZBrush. I'm sure there are some of you, but yeah. Or at least give people the option to turn it off or something, you know? Having to add your model to the workspace, click on edit before you can edit your model. If you forget to click on edit and you click again and you're adding another model, it's just a nightmare. It's a nightmare. I'm sorry, but it is. It's a bloody nightmare. Now, that's why I like Mudbox's interface, but Autodesk don't update Mudbox anymore. Everyone wants the new ZBrush interface, Morek. Morek says, because no studio wants me. Oh, I tried so much and yet nothing. Lots of 3D artists say my things are pretty decent. Well, make sure you jump on the Discord server, Morek, if you haven't already. Because there's a gallery where you can post links to your work and stuff, and if you want any advice from the guys and girls or me, we are on the Discord server at different times, so ask a question and someone will help you if I can't. Like I said, you can show off your work in the gallery. There's a section where you can show links to your portfolio and all that sort of stuff, your art station if you got one. Oh, you already jumped on? Good to hear. But you've just got to keep at it. It's, you know, everybody it takes a long time to find work, regardless of how experienced you are. Trust me. I mean, it's taken. I've gone to many interviews I've not gotten. So you just got to keep trying. Basically, that's what it boils down to. And I know it can be soul destroying, and you can take it personally. I've spoken about this before. It's hard not to take rejection personally, but don't think of it as rejection. That's not a healthy way to think about things. And that's not really what it is. They're not rejecting you personally. It's just that they found somebody else that can do what they need. They think that they found someone else that can do the job that they're looking for, that they think is a better fit. That's all it means. So you just got to keep plugging away. Let's have a look at this church wall. I'm desperate to get a bit of colour variation going on here, so just going to pull up on the scaling a bit. I'm actually going to turn the underlying layer off so I'm not getting distracted by it. I'm going to change the colour of this because it gives me access to colour, which is good. Gives me access to roughness as well, which is good. I'm going to change the colour a little bit. What colour do I want to go for? I want to go for, I think a greeny, olivey green, I think. A greyish, more toward the grey though than the green. Sniper Girl says, well, there you go. Sniper Girl says to Morek, I applied to over 300 different jobs. I know how you feel. You just got to keep pushing. You do. You just got to keep you know, you just got to keep plugging away. You will get there eventually. And like I said, I know it can be hard. And I know it can be, you know, upsetting sometimes as well. But all you can do is just keep plugging away, because eventually you will get there. I'm going to change this color as well. See, that's not the one that I want. Well, that's unfortunate. It's not letting me change the colour of the cement, and I don't really want the cement there, and there doesn't seem to be a way for me to turn it off. So that's sad. More access to Sniper Girl. Thanks, I'll try to do that. I know it's not personal, it's just really demotivating, yeah. Knowing how hard it is to get by as an artist who is just starting out, find some clientele here and there. Yeah, well, that's the other thing, of course, too. You can do commission work. So if you're having, while you're waiting for so say you're applying to studios to work full-time for a studio, you can actually do commission work for other people. So that's always an option.
I'm about to do something, scared of the outcome. I'm sorry to say this, but you aren't good for me. I'm about to change.
Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted here trying to get this to work properly. To work the way I want it to work. Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't look like I might be able to use this. Let me see if I can get around it by playing with the scaling separately. Not really. How unfortunate. That's okay. We'll just find something else. I just need to get the underlying texture correct before I start doing some smart masks. The Sniper Girl says, tomorrow I can know how you feel. I wanted to give up so many times. It's not easy sometimes. No, it's not. Morex says, neither. I'm all the way down the other side of the planet. Bulgaria. We're getting a lot of attention from big game studios also film. Yeah, actually I know a lot of film studios are filming over that part of Eastern Europe. So I'm sure eventually, remember too, if you're a 3D person, you can work in arts biz, you can work in film, you can work in games. There are so many. You can work for a toy company that does, because they need 3D models done before they actually go into production of toys. So there's all these different industries you can work in as a 3D person. It's a similar color though. That's the problem. I really need something that's a different color. Why is it proving so difficult for me to find a texture I like? Because it's not grey. That's the problem. It's finding one that's not grey, or that I can at least change the colour on. Let's have a look at this. Oh no, that's not going to work for me. Sniper Girl says okay, then you can really can't help. Smurfberry says I want Phil's job, but without the Australian heat and lethal animals. Yeah, well, I've been with the studio now for 7 years, and they're a good bunch of people to work with and for. I've worked in some horror places, let me tell you. Some of the studios I have worked for have been absolute nightmares. But the mob now, they're very good. I like them. Let's see what this looks like. I think I looked at this one last time, didn't I? I think I'm just starting to get confused now. Just going to turn off the hide information. Yeah, I did. We might be able to do something with it though. Can I change the colour? Oh, I can change the colour. Nice. Alright, I'm more interested now. Let me see what I can do. Let me see what I can work with here. Let's change the rotation to 90 degrees and see what that looks like. A bit better. Let's change the offset a little bit. Let me turn that layer off so I can see the underlying layer. I'm looking for two materials that are very different in color. That's what I'm trying to look for here at the moment. So we have this lighter grey underneath, and we have this darker colour over the top. So yes, we're keeping our fingers crossed for you as well, Sniper Girl, for your interview tomorrow. Morak says, well, my short story is I started 3D as a hobby like 7 years ago. 3 years ago I started to do heavy duty learning. 2 years ago I got one of the biggest ArchViz studios in Europe and USA. Yeah, got in one of, USA, Red Vertex, and I quit because of their utterly shitty internal politics and workforce extortions. I've been a freelancer ever since, and somehow I'm still standing and not giving up. Well, you actually already worked in the industry. I thought maybe you'd never had a job in the studio, and that's so you're already 3/4 of the way there anyway. And there's no point in working. I've said this to you guys: don't work for a studio that treats you badly. Don't do it. It's not worth it. I'm just going to darken this color up a little bit. You're better off trying to do freelance work than work for a company that treats you badly. Don't want to go too dark. I wonder if I should go into a green. Just bringing in a little bit of green. Okay, so those two colors contrast against each other. They're very different. One's very light, one's very dark, which is good. Edo says, my studio buys a big cake for your birthday. Oh, nice. Now get back on the cake, back on food again. Really, guys? You know how hungry I am. I'm going to look for a smart mask now that I can throw over this. So, what would be good? Let's look at this dirt soft edges, because again, with the new version of Painter that Adobe, I can never get used to saying that Adobe have just released, they added a lot more of these smart masks as well, and these smart masks can be really helpful. So let's see what we can do here. So look at the global contrast. We'll pull that up a bit. Okay, we have micro details here. That's not really going to do a lot for us. Sniper Girl says, cake. Oh, I'm not going to look at that. I'm not looking. I'm not looking, Sniper Girl. You're just being cruel. Cruel, because you know how hungry I am. Okay, this unusually doesn't give me a lot of options, unfortunately, this smart material. I mean, it gives me enough that I'm getting a bit of an interesting blend going on here and there. But apart from that, I'm not given a lot of options. Like some of these smart masks could be many more options. But that's okay. We can... Let's go back to the materials. Let's find something else again. Let's look at this. No, actually no. It might be a bit busy, the damage plaster. Oh, Sniper Girl. She puts it on the Discord server, so now I have this image of this huge chocolate cake. Oh, man. And you know how much I love chocolate, but you also know I can't eat it because I break out in pimples. Oh, you're so mean, so cruel, so cruel. Oh, wow. I'm just going to do a quick save here just in case anything happens. Like Phil loses it and starts to try and eat his monitor. Android Lust says to Morak, you'll make it? Sounds as if you already have the experience in portfolio. Yeah, it does. You will. It'll be fine. It'll just take time, that's all. Sniper Echo, I don't blame you. Sniper says, that's it, I give up, I'm out. Sniper Girl says, don't look in Discord. I have the Twitch chat open here, and I have Discord open below it. That's so if anyone posts in Discord, I can see it. Because I tell you guys to join the Discord, and if I didn't have it opened and you were posting in it, you'd get a bit annoyed. So I can't not see it. And I've seen it now, so the damage is done. Phil eats 3D. Oh man, the cake looks so good too. Morak says, I recently discovered this amazing chocolate ice cream. Oh yum, I can't stop, my wallet starts to hurt. I've just given up ice cream actually. I love ice cream, but I've decided that I eat too much sweet stuff, so I've stopped eating it. It's still in the fridge. I've got this huge tub of ice cream that's been sitting in the fridge for like over a month and a half. Every time I open the freezer and look at it, I think, would be nice. Sniper Girl says, I love ice cream. Have had it in ages. Yeah, I love ice cream too. I really do. And the ice cream that I buy has big chunks of fruit through it. Strawberries and things. So it's really yummy. But it's incredibly sugar-filled. So yeah, I'm just trying to reduce my sugar intake a little bit. For no reason. I've just decided I think it might be a good thing. Like the doctors or anything, they haven't said I have to. I just think it might be a good thing. Because apparently we all eat too much sugar. They're talking about introducing what they're calling a sugar tax in this country. So basically putting up the price of soft drink and anything with sugar in it. Because of the number of cases of diabetes and stuff that are happening now because people are eating too much sugar. Oh, the nanny state gone mad. Come on, guys, you know. Why should we all have to suffer because some of you can't control yourself? I mean, come on. That's a bit mean, isn't it? No, I don't want more images of food in Discord, Sniper Girl. Sugar tax, America would hate that. Well, a lot of people here hate it too. But they're talking about it. They're trying, you know, they're pushing for it. More access to Sniper Girl. If you have a freezer section of your fridge or just a freezer in general, try to look up the net how to make your own fruit ice cream. Yum. And I see Nightbot spamming my links as usual. Pardon me, I'm just going to cough, guys. There's all this talk of food and chocolate cake. I've got a tickle in my throat. There we go. There's already a sugar tax in Chicago, Sniper Girl says. Really? Smurfery says a few cities in the US have a sugar tax, notably Philadelphia. No, I didn't know that either. Yeah, well, they're trying in this country to introduce one. We'll see how they go. They've been trying for a few years. So far, they haven't managed it. Because the large companies here, it's the politicians that would have to introduce it, and they get donations from a lot of the large companies like, you know, Cadbury Schweppes and all that sort of thing. And they don't want a sugar tax, so far we haven't got one. And I don't want a sugar tax. I just want people that have too much sugar to have less, that's all, you know. Let's take a bit of personal responsibility and control and don't eat so much sugar. But I know that can be hard for some people. What would I put over this? Why am I finding it so difficult to find something I like? As Phil chokes to death. Don't you hate that when you just get like a tickle for no reason in your throat? Very annoying. Smokey says it goes into a slush fund for education and poverty stuff. Well, that's a good use of the money. Can't fault that at all. Sniper Girl says never mind. There was one came out in August 2nd, and by October it was repealed. I didn't realise that. Phil chokes 3D. That's right. Like I said, you know, sometimes you just get a tickle in your throat. At least I do sometimes. I don't know why. And it's fine now. Yeah, it just came and went. I think it's because I talk too much. Why am I finding it so hard to find something I like? Something that's going to blend well. You keep distracting me? That's okay. Look, I said to you guys all along, I'm on Twitch to talk to you and to interact with you. That's that's what I enjoy about streaming on Twitch. So doing my work here is just an added bonus of me talking to you. So never think that you can't distract me or talk to me. That's the whole reason I'm on Twitch. Otherwise, I'd just be working on my own. If all I wanted to do was get work done, then I wouldn't be streaming. So those people that bitch and moan about being distracted by their chat, don't stream on Twitch, guys, if that's the way you want to be. Twitch is about talking to people. Sniper Girl says the Smurfery chokes 3D characters to death for cruelty. Let's see what this stonework looks like. Actually, just before I pull that on, I just want to make sure I'm on my top layer here. I hate it when it freezes like halfway through like that. Oh, don't you crash. Please don't crash. Oh. It worries me. It worries me so much. I'm just going to turn off the height and the normal information here. And do we have, can I make some adjustments? Oh good, I can make some adjustments to the color. So I'm going to start by making it darker. Bring out some of the stone in there a little bit more. The actual wall color. So we won't go that dark. See if we can change the color a little bit. No, I don't want to go that dark. And the moss color. I always like to make the moss a little bit more of a green than a yellow. Too green, let's darken it up a little bit. Better. Okay, let's look at another smart mask, sorry. And for this one, let's look at this surface worn. Let's see what that gives us. And so we have a global balance. The contrast, we pull up on the contrast a little bit. Maybe the occlusion. And the curvature. The world space normal. Position gradient. No, we want to pull back on that. And the thickness. Thickness is not doing a lot for us. The ambient occlusion. And the curvature. They're probably going to give us the biggest changes. Oh, the world space normal, sorry. Got the wrong one. Not the curvature, the world space normal. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a save, and now I'm going to put a dirt layer over everything. So let's go back to our materials. The other thing you could do here to get a bit more interest is I could duplicate one of these layers, change the underlying color. So I'm using the same texture twice, but changing the color, making it a bit darker, and then use a smart mask to blend between them. But we won't do it that way. We'll find a dirt material. So we can always come back and add another layer underneath if we think it needs it. And there is a dirt material I use quite a bit. It's not meant to be used as a dirt material, but why not? It's this mud texture. It can be used. There's a wet mud as well, but we don't want a wet one. we'll just use this mud texture. So let's throw that down. Again, I'm going to turn off the height and the normal. And I'm just going to... Wrong button. There we go. I'm pressing Control instead of Alt. I'm just going to change the scale a little bit. I'm going to change the color to make it darker. Maybe not quite that dark. And let's get a smart mask. Let's look at let's look at the dirt soft edges on this one. Yeah, this one doesn't really give me. Okay, so we're getting a little bit more control over it now. Actually, this is quite a nice, this is one of the newer smart masks I think that they added with the new version of Substance Painter, and you get this really nice fine control which you didn't have with the other one, so I'm liking it. I'm liking this one. Huge. The contrast, let's just pull up on the contrast a little bit. I don't think we'll play with the brightness too much. Let's do a quick save. Let's export this texture and bring it into Max. Hang on, what was going? Yes, more access. Well, this is a huge list of applications. Really nice job of maintaining this information. Sniper Girl says yes, save means a certain someone disabled auto save. Who are you talking about? She's making a jibe at me because I disable autosave on all the software I use because I hate being interrupted while I'm working. Like, you know, when it saves, autosaves, it sort of hitches the program, frees the program while it's saving. That really annoys me, so I turn autosave off. But that does mean I must remember to save manually. Morek says, I think I annoyed the hell out of Ubisoft. That's okay, they deserve to be annoyed. Sniper Girl says, 10 years later the project is finally done. Oh, Edo says I'm getting tacos. Oh no, yum! I love Mexican food. Oh, I love Mexican. Love it, love it, love it. Oh wow, I'm going to pig out after the stream when I have lunch. I am so hungry. Let's export the textures. I'm going to export it 4K, but because it's better to have too big than too small. We can actually, before I export, let's rename this so it's not called gold. Let's call this one Terrace LRG for large, DECOS for decos. Terrace large decos. Export the texture. It's going to put it in the right folder anyway. It's called Box 1395. I wasn't very good when I named that. So we're looking for Box 1395. Remember that when we jump back into Max. Sniper Ricker says, I'm going to shoot off. Thanks for the stream, Phil. No problem, Sniper. Thanks for being here. Hope it all went well. I'm glad to see you're still with us. You got to have a good rest, buddy. And hopefully I'll see you next week. I'm back on Monday next week after today. Mercury says, for some ungodly reason, Substance Painter has no problem kicking off an autosave in the middle of a brush stroke. That's why I disable it. And in Substance Painter, to disable autosave, it's under your plugins. Anyway, if anyone's wondering why they put it under a plugin, I don't know, but that's where you turn it off. Go figure. Still not as bad as ZBrush's interface though. Actually, the interface here is pretty nice. It's not too bad in Substance Painter. Okay, let's jump back into Max. Box 1395. That's what we're looking for, isn't it? So again, I'm not going to create a I'm not going to make a Directx shader because we're pushing the limits of my graphics card's memory. We're just going to make a standard shader here, so it's not going to look as pretty, but we'll just have to live with it. Now where is it? It's on the E drive, it's under the temp directory, and we're looking for box 1395. We're just going to pull in the color information. We will be using the PBR texture when we take the model into Eon View to do the beauty render, but just for Max we're just going to use the color map. Do I have it selected? No, I don't. Let's select it. And let's assign the material. And there we go. Now, it's looking a little dark here because of that is a Directx shader that we're using for the terrace here. So what I might do is I might just jump into isolation mode. Find where that shader is. It's this one here. So it's this one here. I'll keep the Directx shader for the tile at the top so we get some nice reflection in the viewport to look at. But I might remove it from the sides. So I'm just going to plug this shader directly into the multi-material. Make sure we turn it on so that we can see it in the viewport. And get rid of that Directx shader part there. And it will actually render up a little bit darker than that. It's just... Actually, I'm just going to turn off the override here. There we go. That's better. Now we can jump out of isolation mode. It just gives us a better indication of what the color is going to look like, more than anything. Alrighty, let's do a quick save here in Max. Zotic, thank you for following Phil Does 3D on Twitch. I appreciate it. So Zotic, thank you for the follow. What's going on in Discord here? I see a lot of things happening. Oh, you posted an image, Morak. This is what I'm working on right now, trying to achieve a higher quality as possible since I'm trying to enter a visual effects company here with some absolutely wonderful people in it. So the model looks really cool. I'm just going to copy this link and we'll check it out. So this is the model that you're working on, that Morak's working on. It does, it looks very cool. Nice detailing going on. And you're going to texture this up in Substance Painter, I'm assuming, but maybe, perhaps. Oh, sorry, Morak, I didn't see your question there. How long have I been a 3D artist, by the way? I've been doing 3D for about over 15 years, 15, 16 years. I used to work in games, so I used to work for game studios. Then I went to work in film, and now I work in ArchViz. So about 16 years, and I've used 3D Studio Max for that entire time. And the game that I'm working on, I'm using Unreal 4, UE4. Sniper Girl says, totally don't check this guy. No, I'm terrible, aren't I? It's open and I don't check it. Sniper Girl says to Morak, he's been a 3D ever since Captain Noah on the Ark. Oh, he's so cruel. You're going to get a pill slap. You get a pill slap, Sniper Girl. You're so cruel. Morak says, Substance Painter and Render in Marmoset to utilize the graphical power I have since rendering SSS and V-Ray will be suicide with an i7 4-core. But this is looking cool, and it will look really nice once it's textured up. We're going to be taking different assets into Mari as well by the Foundry to do some texturing. So at the moment we're using Substance Painter, but I'm also going to use Mari just for a couple of the different textures, for a couple of the different assets in this model, mainly to clean up some of the photogrammetry stuff, the textures for the photogrammetry. That's the plan. Let me look at the folios and demo reels. What's going on here? Oh, Angel's been posting. Cool. Alright, okay, cool. You posted your ArtStation link. Nice. Actually, let's have a look at your ArtStation. Just because I'm curious, I like to look at the work that you guys are doing or you have done. So I'm just going to look at your ArtStation. Anyone new to my channel watching me, you can go to phildoes3d.com. That's my website that you see here. Sniper Girl gave me a mod sauce. She's so cheeky. All my social media links are here as well. So phildoes3d.com if you want to know more about me. Okay, let's have a look. Nice. I like the detail you've got going on in the model. I like the texturing too. Yeah, nice detail work, nice texturing. Yeah, it does, looks really cool. Nice. And this is a stones. Cool. I love that. I love the model. I think the model's really cool. Again, I love the texturing too. Really nice work on this knife. Nice clean edge loops. Yeah, the knife looks amazing. I love it. Love it. Beautiful work. Love the model. Love the texture. Really nice. And what do we have here? Okay, the inside of armor carriage. Yeah, again, it's nice work. If I was just to critique this at all, it was just maybe just that the textures look a bit clean. You know what I mean? Yeah, they just look a bit too clean. I'm not suggesting you make them filthy, but even if you just put a bit of color variation into the red, that would be my only critique. As far as everything else goes, I like the composition, I like the color scheme. Yeah, just the seating and maybe some of the wall sections look a bit clean. That's very cool. And we have a building. Nice. Again, any critique of this would be just that it looks a little clean. Because even anything new, I've spoken to you guys about this on my stream before as well. You want to try and avoid making things look too clean, and it's easy to do to make things look too clean when you do 3D work, because you can make things look perfect, and nothing in real life is perfect, and nothing in real life is completely clean. So again, even just a little color variation in the wall. You don't have to have running dirt marks running down your wall or anything like that. I'm just talking about even just putting a bit of color variation in the actual color itself, just to help make it look less flat. But the render's lovely done. It's really nicely done. The composition here. And I absolutely adore this knife. I think this knife is amazing. I love it. Love it. Nice work, Morak. Really nice work. Mod abuse, Sniper Girl says. You guys. Morak says, the carriage was my first ever attempt at something bigger. Literally the first thing I'd done with normal bakes. Okay, well, that's fine. I don't want to, like, when I say that, I still think the work is amazing. It's just what comes to my mind. And my pet peeve are two things with 3D, people that do 3D. Don't make hard edges. Nothing in real life is like a 90-degree angle. Make a nice soft edge on your models, and don't make your stuff too clean or too perfect, because the real world is not clean and it's not perfect. A good example of that is actually on my model here. If you look at the railing sections, they're not all completely even. And I specifically, the guys will tell you, I went through and I made sure some of these rails were closer than the others. Some of them were bent a little bit. Anything to make the model look less perfect. So just adding a bit of imperfection can help to sell the believability of a model. So yeah, not too clean, not too perfect. What's the time? Okay, I think Android Lust says I like the Phoenix Stone as well. Yeah, it does. It looks really cool. Don't think into your seat more. Like, you've got great work. I love it. Love it. Love it. I think, you know, you've obviously got talent. You can do the 3D stuff. You can do the texturing stuff. There's no reason you can't go and find work in a studio. Well, you have worked in a studio, so you know. Yeah. So I'm not critiquing your work. I love your work, and I just really love that that knife. But I just wanted to mention it just for the benefit of everyone else, that those things are really important. Don't make your models too clean. Don't make them too perfect. Morak says to Android Lust, it's actually part of the theme park project when I was in Archviz Studio. It's located on an island somewhere in China. Sounds cool. But guys, I think we might leave it there for today. I do want to thank you though very much for hanging out with me and for watching and being here. I'll be back on again live on Monday next week at 5 p.m. Pacific time in the United States. Remember, if you want a reminder through Twitch, to follow my Twitch channel at PhilDoes3D. I always post to my Twitter page at PhilDoes3D when I go live as well, so you can follow me on Twitter. You're okay with some critique? You've got to be. I mean, we're all going to get critiqued. I mean, my work gets critiqued by other people in the studio I work for. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to have other people look at your work and tell you what they think of it. And it's important. Because, you know, sometimes we can get blinkers when we look at our own stuff for so long. Hopefully I wasn't too super harsh though. I mean, please don't think I was super harsh. Yeah, and don't take any critique of your work personally either. It's not meant that way. It would be cool to see it in real life. But Sniper Girl says, see ya, and thanks for the stream. No problem. Galen, thanks for being here. Morak, thank you as well. Thank you again to Zotic for following, Morak for following, Saucy Nacho for the follow. I want to thank Smurfberry for the host, and Tamana for the 25-month sub. Thank you very much, Tamana. You guys and girls have a great weekend. Again, I'll be back on live on Monday next week, 5 p.m. Pacific in the US. You guys take care, and I'll see you all on Monday next week. See you guys.